There is an NFT of Ethereum's final proof of work block. So the high bid on the NFT is only 1/3 of what the creators paid to mint it. VanityBlocks paid around 30 Ether to miner F2 pool to mint the NFT of the final block. And now the best offer was sitting at 10 Ether before the show. There it is there as the image on the article. Will, I guess, I think that if the merge were to have happened a year ago, this would be a really different story. I think there's still something here when it comes to minting NFTs around historical moments, especially in this industry. I think there is the potential that this could go up in value. But what do you make of this? 1/3 of what the creators paid to mint it. That's gotta hurt.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. That is pretty tough stuff there. We might get Adam back, I'm hearing, in a second. So that's pretty good stuff.
Look at this.
Ooh, here we go. Look at that.
Keep me down.
Welcome back. Oh. Yeah, let's pick up the story, though. This is a pretty interesting one from a few different dynamics. So let's take it from a technical angle first. The fact that this project was able to land this block is significant, right? It's very hard to win a block on a proof of work network because it's very random.
I'll keep my answer
and how they
short.
did this is basically just paying a ton of money to fit inside that block, and they beat out a lot of different transactions. It's actually a lot of people trying to land transactions on that last block just for like the significance of it, right? Like almost a collectible in that way. And we've seen that with Bitcoin in the past as well. The last halving, May 2020, there was a lot of people trying to get into that block, trying to win it on the mining pool front. Put in like a little message in the op return, which is where you can add like a sentence or two talking about like a historical moment or whatever. And so we saw that happen in May 2020. In this instance, Ethereum has a little bit more functionality. So someone was able to mint an NFT. They pushed all the other transactions outside the block by paying a ton to win that block space. And then they issued this project and this token. They put it up on the market. They're not going to make their money as of right now. But I do see like in the future, this being something a little bit more interesting to people as some sort of collectible. And so I think that for right now, yeah, you're not probably going to make your money, but maybe in 2-3 years, if Ethereum continues to hit its roadmap and targets, this could be like a pretty notable collectible that someone in the Ethereum ecosystem will want. Adam, throw it over to you. Let's get your take.
Yeah, I think you're right on with that. I think that the the collectability of this in the future, like that's the bet that they're making effectively, and we will see whether or not that's a bet that pays off. A lot of like kind of what's going on in the NFT space in particular, and crypto in general, really is speculating on what's going to matter in the future, and that's really in play here. So, in the interest of having this go well, I have good thoughts for them, but I will turn it over to Jen. How are you?
Yeah, well, I actually have a question for both of you. I had an argument with someone the other day about this. Do you think that we are going to see those grand prices attached to NFTs like we saw a year ago? The $69 million Beeple. I think Jack Dorsey's first tweet went for something like $2 million. Are those days behind us? And are we looking at NFTs more for their utility now? What do you guys think?
I'll take a first crack at it. I think that there's going to be more of this, certainly. And I think like you framed this correctly at the beginning, right? If the merge had occurred earlier, the price of this probably would have been significantly higher. But the price to mint this NFT would have actually also been significantly higher. Like it's not super expensive to land something on chain right now compared to a year ago, or certainly even compared to 6 months ago. So if this had happened, a year ago, this NFT would probably be worth more, would have cost more to create. In the future, though, it depends on like what your bet is on the NFT marketplace. And I think something like this with some sort of value tied to the network, tied to like a moment, the merge was a huge deal for a lot of people in crypto, then I think that's going to do well. But some of the other projects that were minted right afterwards, like, I don't know. I think there's still like a stigma around NFTs to be cash grabs. Adam, to you.
So there is a stigma around NFTs, I think, right now, certainly. And again, what we've seen is that NFTs hold up better in some ways and worse in some ways because they just don't have a lot of liquidity, which can mean that they hold up well until they don't, and then they don't hold up well at all. The reality when it comes to sort of like the longer term picture is not even a question about NFTs, in my opinion. It's a question about the world outside of NFTs, and more importantly, the world of monetary policy. We live in an age that is defined by mania, and that mania is something that's very, very desired because it makes us all feel richer in some ways, assuming that you're actually part of the mania and have some assets. So that's a mechanic that has little to do with cryptocurrency, and which is, in my opinion, what drove the first bubble in NFTs. The first very, very high valuations was that mania. And I do not expect that we are past that. I expect we have many years of that in our future.
It's good to hear. More money to be made.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't expecting Adam to be so positive on that.
Bullish.
I don't take that as a positive. That's a negative to me. But it's just a reality,
Money. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm for it. it.
I think that, we spoke about the Museum of Modern Art earlier. I think we're going to see some of these NFTs that mark these historic moments in this industry in some kind of museum in the future. And I hope we do. To your point, Will, I hope that, these moments don't get gobbled up by private investors, private collectors, and our children can learn about this crazy, crazy time that we've lived through.
The merge. I hope our children learn about the merge as well.